Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing 18 EU. And well, in the first video I just managed to did the first operating round, but in this game all the players already start with 3 minor companies. So we have 15 companies operating here, and there were a lot of choices to make, where to start and how to use the special powers and that stuff. So it took me a while, and I guess that the upcoming operating rounds won't go for that long. We have already quite a discrepancy between the players money-wise. The leader here, he already sits on $100. 5, 7 and 13 are his companies. So he's this one here, the 7 here, and number 13 is where exactly? It's down here actually. Interesting. And he's going to make more money this turn if the connection to Paris is available. But there are some people who will increase their income now by quite a bit, I guess. The guy who did the worst is the one up here. That's interesting because he had the first choice and all, and some extra yellow tiles. So you might guess, yeah, he would be good. But interestingly, maybe he made some poor choices. He has $65 only. So compared to the 100 after a single OR, that's quite a bit. He has company number 1, which is sitting here, number 4 over here, and number 6, which is right here. And that one is really poor. Okay, yeah, let's go into the second OR. Remember, in this game you always have 2 operating rounds, so that means company number 1 starts again, and now they obviously make the connection to Paris. From now on, the companies may only lay a single tile, and they're not allowed to upgrade. So this guy runs now for 10, 20, 50, 60, 110. That is, no, that's not true, right? That's 100. 30 and 70 is 100. But that is already a pretty good run here. The next train is the 3 train with $200. So the idea could be at some point that you buy a train over, because in this game trading trains between companies is allowed right from the start. So you could buy a train over and then try to get a 3 train into one company. The problem is you will lose a run with that company, obviously. So that's not so great. On the other hand, if you buy it down, if you buy the train after it has run, then you will not lose the run with that train, so that's not so bad. Just the company will not run, but the train will, and that's good enough. So company number 2 is now placing a tile here at Utrecht. And I guess their goal is to make a connection here with Dortmund, and then connecting up to these 2 dots here. So they got the port, which gives them $30. if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's correct. So it's 60, it's 80 bucks. So it's 40 for the owner and also 40 for the company. Not bad at all. Number 3. Where they are. There they go. Well, you can see they're kind of locked here. No more building options for them. So they're simply running here for 80 bucks. London, that little thing here. And I think that's Lyon, possibly, or was it? Let me see what that is. No, that's Lille. London, Lille, and then here, 80 bucks too. Number 4, trying to hook up here in Dortmund. That's not too impressive, just 50 bucks right now. Number 5, down here. Yeah, he can make now quite a bit of money here. So first, he wants to go this way. Try to go to Nuremberg. And then maybe go here towards Leipzig, Dresden. That gives a couple of extra dots. And he has now the option. Let me see if there's something. There's the city bypass. That's what makes him so strong. So he can start here now for 30 bucks. That's 50. Then he can skip this city here, even though it's blocked. But that is his special ability. And it's very, very strong here. So it's 50, 60, and 40 for Paris. So that means he runs for 100 bucks. And I think that's the best we've seen until now. So that is company number 5. And 6 is sitting down here. Yeah, I mean, they are not in a good shape. They will continue building down there and then trying to hook up here with Nuremberg, and that's probably the best they can do right now. But they only run for 40. I think this is probably the worst company right now. One thing, if you play with, I don't know, we got now 20 stacks of money here. That's an issue you always have if you play a game with a lot of players and a lot of companies, like for example 1869 or this one here. You're pretty soon short of these smaller coins here, of these smaller poker chips here, because you simply have so many stacks. But for now it's fine. The company number 7 is sitting here, and they're also stuck, and they run for 70 bucks. Which isn't too bad. Down there. Number 8, they are sitting here. Well, that's the thing. They don't have the money to blast through the mountains here. So maybe they don't even want to do that. They run for 60, which isn't great. It's down here. And we come to number 9, which is right here, and they are still kind of preparing for a good run. And the next turn they will able to make a good run here. Right now it's not that spectacular, it's just 60 bucks, but at least they got a good perspective here. Number 10 is blocked, sitting here, but they got the longer train, this special ability here, and that allows them to simply add 1 to their range. So they can hit Trieste, and then after that they can go to Venice. So they run for 30, 50, 80 bucks. Let's see if we and okay. And number 11 has the option to place a tile. We're going to do it like this. We're not going here to Rome. We could, that would give us some additional money, but instead we want to go here, make the connection with Florence, and in this way, or yeah, then we can have a nice route here. They have, I think, an additional, yeah, they got a city value increase by 10. So they can run basically these 2 cities for 60 and then this one for 70. Number 12 here, Berlin. They make a connection to Warsaw. Which gives them now, well, that's 70 bucks. That's for now as good as it gets. Not great, but also not that bad. So, yep, down here. $13 is sitting here in Paris. And let me see if they have some special stuff going on. Nope. So they simply run for 80 bucks. There you go. And 40 for the company. Okay. And then we have company number 14, which is sitting down here, Lyon. They make now, they simply add a dot here going into Switzerland. So they run for 40 and another 30. That's 70. Company. And in the end we see company number 15, where they would love to connect to Vienna, but obviously that is not the case here. We need an upgrade. Now, lucky for the player here, or well, that's no luck, he will be the one to upgrade this, because company number 8 is going to be the first one who will be in range. We have number 10, we have 15, we have 11, and the player who's holding 8, he's also holding 15, so he can make sure that there will be an upgrade which connects Vienna with Budapest immediately. There are other types of upgrades which could then lead out in the wrong direction, but that is probably not going to happen if things don't go terribly wrong somehow. So we go into the stock round. And let's take a look at the player's money. And it seems this guy's again in the lead. He's sitting on 225. Nobody else has, well, this guy actually also has 205. And a couple of players are close to 200, or the other ones. This one here is sitting on 190. This one is even sitting on 195. And he is quite a bit behind. I mean, he's sitting here on 160. So yeah, I mean, still he is in the lead money-wise. So what happens now? Is there anything to buy? Well, I don't know if I mentioned it, but you cannot simply start a company by buying a presidency and then kick it off. In this game, it doesn't work like that. Well, that's not quite true. After the 5 train has been purchased, you can do it. You can buy a presidency, and if 50% of the shares are purchased from the IPO, then there will be a full capitalization. So it's 50 here instead of the 60 of 1830, for example. But apart from that, it works like 1830. However, before the 5 train is purchased, you have to convert a company into a major company, technically, before to start a company. So the way you do that is you buy one of the presidencies over here, and then you choose one of your companies and you exchange them, or you exchange it for a 3rd share. So for the 3rd share, so you hold 30% of the company after the exchange of the minor company. Then that major company will get the tokens will be exchanged. So the company you choose also determines where your major company starts. And then the major company will get the money and the trains of the minor company. And what is interesting, it will also get the power of the minor company. And it will use that power till the end of the game. So, yeah, it's an interesting aspect in this minor power variant that you get these additional powers here. Okay. The company is not ready to go then. 50% of the shares have to be either purchased or exchanged to start the company. Additional companies may exchange a share from the started company before it operated for the first time. You cannot exchange share afterward, but before its first OR, you can exchange a minor company for a share of a new started company. And every player has the option to do that as long as he is connected with that new started company, or if he shares a hex. So for example, if a company starts in Paris, even though the companies are not connected, the other player could at that point, or the other company could also be exchanged for a share of that first company. And as I said, once there are 50% exchanged or purchased, the company is ready to go. It is, however, not a full capitalization, like after phase 5 or from phase 5. Instead, the shares go into the company, the remaining 50%, or maybe less, depending on how many shares were exchanged. So the money goes into the company, and or the shares go into the company, and also the money from the purchased shares go into the company, and from then on, you buy shares either out of the company and then the money goes into the company, or if there should be shares in the pool and you buy them from there, then the money goes into the bank pool. So it's a lot like 46. It's basically a partial capitalization, but you need to buy 50% first before the company can operate, and from then on you have a partial capitalization. Okay, so this is how you start a company. Can we do that? Well, technically, yes, absolutely. You are allowed to start a company basically from the beginning of the game. There is no rule to prevent that. The problem is you don't have any money to buy a presidency in the first OR, so you can't. But now players have that. We have here in the pool, you can see these red bordered areas. They indicate the possible starting values. There is no par price in this game. You have a starting price, and once the company operates, the shares are always traded for the actual market value. So this is, I think, the case in most partial cap games. And I think 56 is a little different. But that is a weird type of capitalization anyway. But I think there you have a par price and some kind of partial cap. But usually in partial cap games, you always trade shares for market value. Exceptions, like always in 18xx. I think 35 is also different. Anyways, let's go back to this one. So yeah, player could do it. The question is though, because you need, well, basically there are two questions. Do you want to do it? Are you even interested in doing it? Because your companies are making a lot of money. You're holding a single certificate basically, and they pay out 50%. So if you're holding, let's say, I don't know, something like 30% of a company, and another player holds 20%, it's probably not such a great deal. I mean, you're making a little bit of share appreciation here, but it is kind of questionable if you're getting really the money. You're basically losing 20%, right, from the revenue. And I'm not sure if you make that up in share appreciation. Maybe you do, but I would guess that you want 40 or better 50% of your company, and you can hold up to 60, by the way. After an exchange of a company, you might even hold more than 60%. But you have to sell down again at the first possible option. But you are not allowed to sell shares of companies that have not yet operated. So it is possible, for example, that you hold more than 60%. Let's say you're sitting on 60% of a company, and then you exchange another one of your miners. Then you hold 70%. You could run that company for 2 ORs, and then when the next stock round starts, you have to sell 10%. So that's the thing. You don't only want to make sure that you can get 50% in a way that it is divided between the players. You don't only want to make sure that you can get the company running. You also want to make sure that that you own a good chunk of it. Otherwise, you just will lose revenue. So I mean, maybe it's not that simple, because of course you have then more capital in your company, which would allow you again to buy additional trains so that you can simply make more revenue. So these are all things to consider. But I don't know if I really want to try to start a new company right now. For example, the players who have the most money are most likely the ones who could afford it the best, but they are not really interested in changing the situation that much, because they already, right now, they make the most of money. They have pretty successful companies. So $200, I don't know. Is it interesting for me to change it somehow? If I start a company at 70, 4 times $280 would be necessary to buy 4 shares. Well, I don't know. I couldn't afford it. I had to trade in basically 2 companies and buy 3 shares to start a company at the lowest level. I think this is a pretty bad idea. The players who are in a bad shape, who are willing to change things, I don't know, maybe this guy up here, he's definitely interested in getting things changed, right? His companies are crap. I mean, that will change a little bit once, they will be much better this turn. So in the end, it's okay for him too, I guess. So nobody is going to do anything right now. Nobody will start anything. Priority stays here, and we go into this next set of ORs right away. And a lot of companies are already kind of locked now. They don't have the option to do a tile placement. Many of the routes have been built the best possible way right now. So we come to a point where specific companies might now consider shifting around trains to get that additional 3 train into the company, simply because there is now quite a bit of money in there. I mean, you probably don't want to shift around 3 times to get all the money in one company, because, I mean, that would be obviously an option, but then you lose a couple of runs, and I don't think you want to do that. So let's see, there is close to $100 in here. I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe if they run for a good amount of money here, and then, for example, they also make a bunch of money, then it would be an option to say, okay, we buy that 2 train over here, and then we can buy a 3 train here. The question is, for example, do these guys want to run 2 trains? Is that a valid option? And for them, it isn't, because they are stuck here in Paris. They can only run a single train. So they don't really want to do that. What about the 13? Same problem here. So this is an issue here, right? These guys don't really want to do it. So the only company who could run 2 trains would be the 5. But that means they basically lose a run with a 2 train, because they have to, they have to buy a train up. So they have to buy a train that hasn't run that round, and they cannot run that train themselves. So they kind of lose a 2 run, which, that sucks for them. So you got to ask yourself, do I want to do it at all in this specific situation? We'll find out. Company number 1 had a run of 100 down here. Company car number 2 goes now finally to Dortmund, and that gives them now a great route here. Of course, they cannot go to Berlin. They only have a 2 train, but still they can run now for 30 because they got the port, 60, 70, 80, 100, 110, 120. That is very, very good. $60 for, where are they? And down here. Excellent run. That's 135. Well, right now there is no company with $70, so we cannot buy a train over. And it's only not, we could run 2 trains, but it would not gain us a lot. But a 3 train would be kind of cool for that company. We could run to Berlin. That's 30 additional bucks. Is it worth it? Interesting question. It might be. Well, we'll see. Let's go first to the next company here, Tunnel Blasting. That's company number 3, and they're sitting here and they're making their they are making an 80 run again. So that's 40 and another 40, and for them 2 trains is definitely an option. They might really consider that, even if they lose 1 run with a 2 train. But for them, that means an additional $70. That's a lot of money. Again, there's not quite enough money here right now to buy a train over. We have $120 in here, 60 here, 65 in here. So it doesn't work. We cannot afford the train for $200. And in this game, minor companies are not obliged to have a train. So that means you cannot do an emergency financing or something. You cannot say, okay, fuck it, I'm going to spend $20 from my own money to get a train in there. That is not allowed here. There is an obligation for major companies to hold a train, but not for minors. Okay, so let's go to the next company. 4 now has also a massive run. 30, 40, 50, 70. It's not that great. 80, 90, but it's still a good run. So here it would be possible now, for example, we could buy the train down with a 4 company. We could buy the second 2 train, and then there would be enough money in here to buy a 3 train. Well, the 3 train would run fine from Paris to here, but if you think about it, it would only give us 30 additional bucks. But it's not that bad. However, the 4 company can only run a single train. They can only run a single 2 train because this is not upgraded. So there is, I mean, it's not that simple. Right now I could only run a single train. However, if well, that's an interesting thing actually. If I buy the 2 train over now, then there is enough money here to buy a 3 train. That means when the company number 4 will operate, they will actually have the option to upgrade Berlin. And then they could make a connection like this, for example, to Dresden. And that would give them a lot of additional money. So you know what? I think I'm actually going to go with that option here. It sounds reasonable to me. So yeah, I think I want to do that. Let's maybe we buy the first. We might be able to buy the first 3 train. I don't know if we are, but maybe we are. And that might be a good thing, because usually the first train of a specific type runs also a little longer. So I think I want to do that. We're going to buy the train over from here. Okay, there you go. And that means we don't lose a run with that train because we buy it down, right? I mean, of course, that company will not run, but that company will have a double run with 2 trains. So it's going to be fine. And yeah, it's all great. So I think that is definitely a good idea. Okay, cool. Company number 5 placed this tile here in Nuremberg, and now we have also a massive run for that company. Remember, they can bypass a city. So they can run from Paris to Dresden, which is amazing. Gives them an excellent run of 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, 110, 120. They cannot hit Dresden, but it's still pretty impressive here. So we see a similar maneuver down here. Company 8, they buy a second 2 train from company 2. So again, buying down doesn't lose the run. So they can run this 2 train in the next turn. If they upgrade Vienna, which they will be able to, they can run here and then from Vienna to Budapest and from Vienna to Prague. That gives them quite a bit of money. And company 2 will be able to run here from Amsterdam and the North Sea here to Berlin, which is also a great run. They can afford a 3 train. So that is pretty awesome. What's funny about this thing is that actually that's pretty crazy if you think about it, and I might consider that. I will be the one who's able to upgrade Berlin now, because if this guy buys the 3 train, then this guy will be able to upgrade Berlin, and he might not be so interested in making a connection here to Dresden. So maybe he cannot run his 2 trains. That's an interesting aspect, but we'll see about that. That's painful. It really is. We'll see how that develops. I think he can do it anyways, though. And I mean, in the end, I think you cannot completely cut this guy out. So, but he wanted to run 2 trains. It sucks, yeah. It doesn't look that good. Maybe he's gonna lose a lot of money there. Okay, well, it is then, let's see, who comes next? Company number 9, and they are sitting here, and they can now make this connection with a dot in Florence, or Florence, I'm not sure. So, there you go. And now they can run their 2 train like this, which is more valuable than before. Do they have something special? No, they don't. So they run for 30, 40, 50, 80 bucks. So over here, the same thing is going to happen. We're going to buy the 2 train down here. There's 100 bucks in here and 100 bucks in here. 110 bucks was there. So it's going to be fine. And then we can run the 2 trains. One goes here. That isn't too impressive. And the other one goes down here. And the 3 train can run like this. It's not that great, but I think it's okay. I mean, we might consider well, I guess it can't hurt. It's a tough choice, but I think I want to do it. I guess it can't hurt. We lose a little bit of money though, because this route is clearly more valuable than that one. So, do we want to do it? I think so, yeah. In the next turn, I can only run this thing one more time. Then I'm going to start a company, and I probably want to have 2 of these companies. In my major, because otherwise I'm kind of stuck here, and that's not so great. So it's not that easy to say. Is it really worth it? Because the double 2 train will go into my major after a single run anyways. Then we have a company here with a 3 train. I mean, it's not bad. It's a solid company. It can go to the water here and then run like this. I think it's okay to do that. To have a 3 train in that company is fine, and it's going to be okay. We lose a bit of money because of this, but I think it's going to be fine. Here's what I'm not sure about, and I'm really thinking about doing this, or maybe not. Because if I start a company, if I want to start a major company with this guy who controls these 3 companies down here, my question is, where do I want to do that? Which do I want to... You know, for example, if I take number 10 and number 11, I'm pretty much restricted here. My problem is I cannot go out from Vienna at another point. I mean, eventually there will be this tile, but where do I go? Right? Especially if this guy will be able to upgrade it, we will sit on something like, let me see how this looks like then. It's going to be this. I mean, okay, I could go, yeah, but if I go here, you know, I cannot go through Budapest because it's only going to be 1 slot. So that means I'm pretty much stuck here in Vienna. And so if I make a company which is Vienna and this one here, the 10 and the 11, for example, I got my longer train with the 10. So that means this is already all kind of used up. And then the 11, or the second company, can only run here. That is not a terrible great company. I can basically only run a 2 train. I could only run 2 trains efficiently. Maybe I can somehow, I don't know, make a connection down here or something. But this is all not terribly good for me. So I think this combination of a company is pretty lousy. Maybe the 9 and the 11 look more promising. But then it is such a great idea to make that train exchange and lose the money here, because if I don't run here for the 80 bucks, I can instead run here for the 50. But that is not that great. If I'm going to then come up with a major company anyways. I mean, okay, I will have a 3 train 1 turn earlier. Maybe that's worth it. I think that might be worth it, so I'm going to go with it because, yeah, I basically have a 3 train 1 turn earlier, and I think that's okay. But honestly, I'm considering even maybe merging all 3 companies into one big one, because down here, otherwise it's not that great. The other option would be to say, hey, we're going to merge only these 2 companies and let the minor sit in Vienna, run that train, which is then pretty good actually. And we have these 2 companies to, which might then be able to expand here to Turin. And that's not so bad either. So I think it's going to be either that or that massive merger, but I'm not sure about that yet. Here's what I'm considering though. If I'm planning to leave the company 10, that one here, if I'm planning to leave this as a minor company, the 2 train will be gone pretty soon, I guess. Because we're going to see now all the 4 trains, some major companies starting. There are not too many 3 trains left. Probably 3 or 4 of them will be bought by the miners, and then the 4 trains will be bought by the majors pretty soon. So, and they will rust, obviously, the 2 trains. So that means that if you want to leave a company as a miner, it's better the company that has a 3 train. So I'm actually thinking about doing it the other way around. So if I had $110 in there, if I remember that right. So I guess, yeah, I guess I want to buy the 3 train in here. Now, you might say, you cannot really run that thing. And that is kind of true. I only have, because I have a longer train, right? So I cannot really run that thing to its extent. But if there will be an upgrade in Vienna, then player 8 wants it to connect like this. And then I have an exit here. And if then I'm able to make a connection here to Pressburg, maybe I can connect to Budapest. That might be possible, and then I can run my 3 train as a 4 train because it's a longer train, and I can make a good amount of money there. The only problem is I'm going to need $60 to cut across the mountains here, and that is an issue. Shit. Let me see how much money I have here. Is that, I mean, these are 100. Shit, these are exactly $200 for a 3 train and 15 in here. So I have to run that 3 train once more. Okay, these are upgraded then, so I'm gonna make more money. So maybe in 2 turns or so, this will happen. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I think it's still better than sitting on a trainless minor company, right? So I guess that's what we're gonna do. It's not great, but I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna roll a die. On a 1 to 3, I'm gonna follow that plan. Otherwise, I'm going to merge all 3 companies. Because it also sucks, you know, if you have a train and you cannot run it to its full extent for something like 2 turns or something, that's pretty painful. So actually, I'm considering doing a merger of all 3 companies on a 1 to 4. Okay, so that's what we do. So here's the thing, we're not going to do that. We're going to, I think it was like this. We're going to leave all the trains where they are, and then eventually we're going to do a massive merger here in the south. Otherwise, we're losing too much of our advantage, I think. So this player also has a problem. If he wants, and that is something I didn't consider too well, actually. It's the connection of the companies, right? For some people it works quite well, but for others not so much. So for example, if he wants to start a major company, he can only basically start, he can use 1 for his miners, but the others are all not connected. The 12 is back here, the 3 is over here. I mean, eventually there might be a way to connect these 2, but not that soon. And the 14 is sitting down here. So that is a big issue for him. And yeah, now it turns out that these choices were actually pretty questionable. I mean, yeah, should have considered that better. So it might very well happen that at some point there are just... I might make this a major company, because this is a company that can easily spread out, and these are pretty much stuck. So you don't really want them as a major company, because they cannot use their capital to do cool stuff. Because they can just run the train there and eventually do something like building down here, but that will take a while. So it's either these guys, they can spread out a little more and try to build here, maybe make a connection here at some point, but that will take some time, or here, and that looks right now the most promising, right? I can, if I upgrade this, I might be able to cut in here to Cologne and through Cologne and all, but also that will take a while. So, I'm not in the best position when it comes now to this phase of the game where the majors start, and I gotta find a way to deal with that somehow, because pretty soon my 2 trains will be gone, and then I might have a couple of miners that don't have a train. So I try to avoid that. So actually I considered not buying a 3 train. We go into the next OR, by the way. I considered not buying a 3 train with my first company and letting that run go, so that I'll be able to make that upgrade here in Berlin when the company 2 buys its 3 train. Because the problem is, if I cannot make that upgrade, but the 2 instead does it, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see then, we might see, instead of this, which will then connect company 4 and 6, so that I could then start a company there next turn, we might easily see some shit like this. Right? And that is not great at all. So I really thought about doing that. However, so if I want to start a company next turn, which includes these 2, and I really want to do that, actually, because these are the ones that hold my 2 trains. I still might have a chance to do that, because I have the extra track upgrade, for example. So, yeah, I think I can do it. I think I can then, for example, with company 6, I could simply upgrade this thing here and then make an upgrade here, and then we have our connection. So it's not great, because we cannot run through Berlin, and that kind of sucks, but that will eventually happen when Brown comes out. As I said, the other option would be to lose a run with a 3 train, basically. That's a lot of money. We're talking about, I'm not sure exactly, but something like 40, 50, 80, 90, 100, 130 bucks. Half of it would go into my company. I don't think this is worth it, to be honest. So I think I have to bite the bullet here and accept that upgrade, and instead, so we're gonna buy the first 3 train of the game here. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So this is 100, 175. There you go. 200 bucks. And we're in 3. Okay, this is it. Now we have green. The Pullman car has become available. And that's pretty much it. Holy shit, you know what I didn't realize? I'm not allowed to upgrade. I'm not allowed to upgrade with my minor companies. I totally forgot about that. Wow, I mean, that changes things a lot. That really sucks, because that means, for example, for him, that I cannot run the second 2 train. Ah, boy, that's painful as hell. I just didn't realize that. I forgot about that. Shit. Okay, well, so that also means that this Dicky upgrade here will not happen. We have a couple of possible upgrades here, though. This guy can do it. He's got an extra track upgrade, great. But it doesn't really help him that much either, because he cannot connect here. Ugh, that sucks. That's quite an issue. Okay, anyways, I will buy a 3 train here. For him it's okay. I mean, he can run the 3 train from Amsterdam to Berlin next turn, so he's going to be fine. Down here, number 3, these guys, well, they're simply going to run that 2 train for another 80. Now this is a total disaster for him, obviously, because now he loses a run with the 2 train. That's not what he was planning for, because, yeah, that he can now run only 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90. It's not bad, but yeah, he lost a run with a 2 train. It's as simple as that. So that totally sucks. And this guy here and 45 over here, but this is painful as hell. Now, company number 5, these guys here, they have a single 2 train. They can make this run here from here again to here. Okay, this company has so much money, they can actually afford a 3 train without shifting money around. So they're going to do that. I'm not even sure if I want that 3 train necessarily in this company, but if I buy it now, you know, I can run it a little longer. Why wait? It doesn't help me if I buy the 3 train in the next turn or something. I can run it just a little less. So it doesn't give me that much of an advantage, and I still have the option now to maybe buy it down with one of these companies, and so I might consider that. I'm not sure how I want to, which company should survive of these 3. I'm also not in the best position here. That is really an issue. Maybe I want the company 5 to survive as a minor company a little longer, but then I'm sitting here with these 2 companies in Paris as major companies, and they are not doing that great. I mean, I'm stuck here, you know. Even if this goes to green, I cannot go beyond that. And I'm also stuck here. I could go to London, of course, that eventually this will upgrade so that I can go north. But it's really tricky. It really is. These 2 cities that I don't control any of them, that is a shame. So, yeah. Okay, with these guys, I can do a track upgrade. So, basically just 2 options. I could upgrade this or this. I think I want to do it. I'm not sure what to gain of this, but I think I want to do it anyways. So we'll make an upgrade here. Maybe try to break out here. So, yeah, I mean, I could maybe eventually make a connection here, but I don't have... The thing is, I can do this only once. Yeah, and then I can actually lay a track. So the question is, do I want to lay it like this, or do I want to make my way down here to Frankfurt? It's hard to tell. Let's see, maybe I'll find someone who's also interested to make a connection. Maybe, what about this guy here? 2? I don't think he is. He is fine holding the 2 as a minor company. So for him, it's not a big deal. Otherwise, you know, if we find someone who can upgrade a town, who is that? That would be him. No, that he's got an extra town. Oh no, that would be him. With company number 8, which is sitting right here. So that doesn't help terribly. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think I'm fine. I don't know what to do with that track, to be honest. Do I want to go to Frankfurt? Maybe that's a better choice. I got 1 and 4. Where is 4? 4 is there. 1 is here. So maybe if I want to come up with a connection at some point, that's hard to tell. It really is. So yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to toward Frankfurt here. And then in the next OR, I can lay a tile here. And then great. I don't know. I have no idea. I cannot even cut in here because this is no plain track. So I cannot upgrade this either. We'll see. Anyways, I'm going to do it that way now. I hope I don't destroy more options than I actually create, but it's something I want to try. Here's an idea that I have for the player who holds the 5, the 13, and the 7. And it doesn't work already. Yeah. You know, these guys are connected when it comes to running trains, because the 5 is able to skip that train. But the problem is they're not connected to start a company. That's the issue. I cannot trade in a share for this company to... fuck. That's a really big problem here. I mean, okay, we still have the chance to do it. The thing is, when the 5 train comes out, after that set of ORs, there will be a final exchange round. Then you have a choice. You have a last chance to basically exchange shares for and bring in miners into your company if you are connected. So it's not just in that moment of creating a major company. There is still a chance to do it later, but only at that specific point, and by then you have to be connected. Otherwise, you have to trade in with maybe companies that even don't belong to you, and then that major will get the advantage that your company brings in, and that is obviously pretty painful. Anyways, what I think I want to do is, I think I want the 3 train, it's company 7, right? They were operating right now. So I think I want the 3 train in here. Because I think I want to make the 5 a major company. And if somehow Paris grades up. I don't know how that can happen, but it might. For example, company 13 has the six. Oh, look at that. They have a city upgrade. Now that is pretty awesome. So they can upgrade Paris, and then this company here can run a train from whatever, Brussels to London. That's going to be the 3 train, and that's pretty good. So yeah, I think I want to do that. Question is, how much money do I want in there? Probably not too much. I think I'm going to leave $5 in there, buy all the other stuff over here. So just to make sure there's a little bit of money in there. Okay, great. So then we go to the next company, which is 8 down here. And same problem for him, you know, his great plan of upgrading Vienna and then running the 2 trains and all that, that is all bullshit. And that is really painful. We can't do that. So we also cannot build some major company here. Fuck. It's not going to work out that way. I mean, eventually I will probably do it. I will probably make a big company here simply to get the chance to make a connection. But they're going to have a permanent 2 train. That's pretty cool. So technically we could let these guys run for quite a while. The problem is you cannot run the 2 train alone. Okay. The permanent 2 train alone. Great. So again, I'm going to lose a run with a 2 train down here because I was hoping to do it differently. So we're going to lose, yeah, we're going to, shit. Okay, I'm going to run for $60 here. Oh boy. And that's it. We can make a town upgrade. Does that do us any good? Not exactly. I don't really see a big advantage here. I don't think I want to do that. Okay. So now it's company number 13, and they can do a city upgrade. This is pretty awesome. They can upgrade Paris. And that's great for I mean, the question is, do you want to do it? Because it also helps the company number 7 massively. But you know, I think I still want to do it because it helps me too, and we're not playing a 2-player game here. So I run for $100. And well, actually 7 is my own company, so that's just great. Awesome. Great, I could do that. That's fantastic. So, and then it's 14, and they're sitting here, and yeah, their hope was to find a connection in here, but this is all more than questionable now. Yeah. I guess I want to do it anyways and lay this tile. And we run for $80. We're done with this OR, in which had some bad surprises for a couple of players, especially the ones that did this. Yeah, and you know that it's interesting. The 2 players who shifted around their money, they were the ones that counted on upgrading the big cities like Vienna and Berlin. And they lost, yeah, they lost definitely quite some money with their actions. So, not good. This player has now still in the lead as he was before. He's sitting on 565 bucks. This guy is sitting on 400 and whatever 30 or so. He is pretty much in the same position. This guy is sitting only on 375, and so is this guy. And that's exactly, that mirrors their mistake, right? They were the two who were hoping on doing this cool shifting and then running the double 2 train, and it didn't work out at all. And that's, in the end, they simply lost a run with a 2 train. Otherwise, they would have had 40 bucks more or so, and then they would be in range of these two guys here. Bad luck for them, or simply my mistake. That probably is more correct. So we go into the stock round, and not sure if I want to do the stock round in this video, because this is going to be a big one. However, I might not do that much on camera anyways, so maybe I will. Yeah, I think I can do it. Nah. No, you know what? I'm going to load this up now, and yeah, hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.